Hi and welcome back to the 7th and final lesson on Magnus Carlsen. This will be a step-by-step conclusion course on the way he is playing. First question: how did Magnus get to his success in his younger years? My answer is, the young Norwegian star was not a big star at first. However, he started to learn a lot of openings and a lot of middle game theories. He quickly learns how to play with several material imbalances, such as rook versus two minor pieces, knight versus bishop, bishop versus knight, and so on. Fortunately, these theories are out there for you as well. They will improve your game, and I've already shown you how Magnus handled some of those examples, and besides that, Magnus' story shows how you can improve your chess by learning and devoting time to it. Second question: how to study like Magnus? You can really pick up any textbook or video around these days. Just devote time to learning, playing and evaluating your play every day. Be sure to study the history of chess and also middle game and end game themes, not just focusing on openings, although the start is important and it's even getting more important these days. It's very, very vital to grasp the ideas of the middle game and the rest. Third question: how can you learn to play for small advantages like Magnus? Well, that's the thing. As you progress, you will need smaller and smaller advantages to win a game. All these techniques can be learned. Fourth question: what do small advantages consist of usually? Well, even when computers say 0.00 most of the time in Magnus' games, he does have a psychological advantage in a lot of positions. We can recognize several themes. For example, island or group rule of pawn weaknesses. This one's very important. He plays on this a lot, and it's one of the things you need to look out for as well. It really dictates the course of the game in most games. Other pawn weaknesses, and most notable the doubled e-pawn in the open games. Material imbalances like rook versus two minor pieces and piece versus three pawns, bishop versus knight or bishop versus knights. He really tries to get there. I've noticed that pawn weaknesses are a very big factor in every chess game, not the ones played by masters only. Pawn structure and ease of play becomes even more important at an amateur level or beginner level. Next question: how does Magnus avoid the result? In a worse position, he complicates matters rather than playing good moves. So he would rather make it more complicated. In a better position, he also strives for a position where opponents can't draw quickly. And thirdly, play an opening which does not involve a lot of critical lines. But how does he do this? He does this by recognizing small psychological weaknesses and obtaining them. Getting to the top level. Magnus is playing the same high quality opponents all the time. At first he really had to adjust to their playing styles, but gradually he adjusted and found their weaknesses. This can be a good thing to apply for you if you're playing the same opponents more often. For example, in small chess communities this is the case. So study your opponents and find their weaknesses, and it will pay off. Tenacious defense. How to defend like Karjakin. As we could see, Karjakin compromised early in the game to save the game by fortress. He did, however, seldomly compromise on his pawn structure. Thereby, the notion of fortress implies to be able to passively defend. And the last question, winning on character. What do you mean with that? I said several times that Magnus won on character in his last games, and this is a psychological thing where people who cannot believe they're actually doing well will sabotage themselves in the end. And Sergey did that. Although Sergey managed to make his plans work in the match, he probably didn't believe fully in the fact that he could really pull it off and win the match. This is also true for me and my opponents, and it's probably just as true for you, especially in the rating system. So, for example, you are playing a lower rated opponent and you have a bad position. Still, belief is an important aspect when it's getting important, and that's when the result is actually being made. So, you have a bad position and your opponent doesn't really believe in his own capabilities, although he still has a good position. You can play for the belief that you will win in the end. You have to believe in it and try to find it in the end. Well, I hope you enjoyed the course as much as I did in making it, and I hope you will apply these lessons to your own games.